Good day, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining us. You're watching Open Studio right here on Cape Town TV. My name is Danny Kambwa. I've got the children's author with me today, who goes by the name of Zaida. She's wrote an amazing book called Nobody Loves Me. So we're here to speak all about that and also how parents can, interact with the kids and make them feel more special, more loved, and more welcome. So, Zaida, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, you're welcome. So, before we get into your book, all right, for those that's watching at home that's seeing you for the first time that do not know you, can you just give us a brief description of who you are?
Zaida Harneker. I'm from the Retreat Steenberg area. Basically, happy childhood, very isolated. We are four siblings. Yeah, high school, obviously primary school, high school. I went to college, immediately start working. And so working and studying, that's been my life. And then, yeah, I just decided to do something else, totally out of my comfort zone, which is started with my book and then moving on yeah.
And here we are.
Exactly.
So tell me, what has inspired you to write this book?
Basically, it didn't start out as writing a book. My dad passed on, and dealing with his loss, people give you the advice that you need to write about it, talk about it. But I didn't feel like doing that. It started like that, but it didn't sit well with me. And it just became thoughts. So I just wrote, and one day it just hit me, why not do something positive? Why not write a children's book? And then I thought about, the age and all that, everything came in. So it just became what age I wanted to do, which is a foundation phase, and yeah, and it became a book. But it took me a while. It didn't just hit me and I started and that was it. So it took about over 2 years until I finally got to a point and said, this is what I want to do.
Wow. I mean, different age groups react to situations like this differently. So what made you decide, I want to go foundation phase?
I feel that that's the best time to teach children. I feel that in my experience though, you can teach a child, but it's best at the early age for them to understand. And me being a parent, I can see how things is important for them at this age already. And not wait for when they're a teenager, try to get into there and explain things, because I've seen that doesn't always work. So if we get to this age and teach them, they have a better understanding later in life about certain things.
Wow. So you mentioned you're a mother of 2 teenagers. So 1 teenager?
My mom?
No, you're a mother of how many teenagers?
Oh, no, just two.
Just
two,
two.
two kids, 12 and 9.
12 and 9.
Yeah.
Wow, so I see, because this book is also appealing to that age group. So, as being a mother to such young kids, how has that been like for you?
They've been my inspiration, especially my son.
Okay.
My son has also gone through a bit of trauma with being in hospital, and I've learned a lot being with kids, being with him, seeing how kids interact, seeing different kids. That also gave me perspective and inspiration for the book.
Yeah. Wow. And childhood trauma is one of the issues that...
Yes, he had to work through quite a bit, me, myself, and I didn't know how to, because it was the first time for me as well. He's my eldest, a 12-year-old. So I didn't know how to deal with certain things. So that is also where the inspiration comes, where a lot of parents don't know how to, and kids don't know how to express themselves. So with this book, sparks communication, sparks interaction, and that is what inspired me.
Wow, and I mean, interaction, communication is a few of the things that is, I'll say, lacking within our society or our generation today, because we've got things like technology where kids will rather be on the phone than, to speak face-to-face. We've lost that face-to-face interaction. How important is that? Do you think it is that, parents have that face-to-face interaction with the kids?
Definitely, I feel that that's important because my son, with lockdown, I've realized that he's been on, obviously the Zoom schooling that I've been doing. So here and there, when they have a break, I'll say, oh, well done, that was nice, that was good. And that obviously never happens because he's normally at school, I'm normally at work. And me being at home, saying 1 or 2 sentences to him for the day, or congratulating him, or giving him a pat on the back, that actually made him get out of his comfort zone because he's very quiet, he doesn't talk much. And on a daily basis, this has been happening with us interacting more, communicating more, and it has definitely helped and improved his confidence as well. So I would think that it's extremely important to have that, to have that relationship between parent and child.
Wow, and this really links us into the title of the book, which says "Nobody Loves Me." How did you come to that title?
Speaking to quite a few parents, they are familiar with this. And even if you are only child, sometimes kids just want attention, or they just want their way, or they're just manipulating you to get whatever they want. So they will say, you don't love me, to make you feel bad, to make you give it to them, or whatever. And most of the times, you get a very pretty picture, because it's a children's book, you want to make it happy. So for me, it's also something that drew attention. Like, oh, Zaida, why did you call it that? Because you initially would think it's a sad book. But it's also to grab the child's attention, because kids feel like that. It might be sometimes to get away with something, but they generally also feel like that. So the book title was basically to grab attention.
And to grab attention to both
To
children
both, yes.
and adults.
That's correct, yeah.
So if we look into this book, what is the intention? Who are we trying to engage more? Is it more for the parents to raise awareness to the parents what the child is feeling, or to get more the children based on their emotions?
Definitely both. There's no one or the other or more. For me, it's to spark communication, to get that interaction, family or just between that child and the parent. It is for both, to spark that, spark the communication basically between the two of them, to get them talking, to get the other kids maybe involved. Because like you said, technology today, or everyone is just doing their own thing. I have my own friends, and so it goes on. So it's basically to grab the whole family and say, oh, the feedback I received from some parents were, the first page, Zaida, my child said, that's you, mommy, you're too busy. Or the mother would say, oh, my word, I'm guilty of this. Or, you know what, his brother does that to him. So it's to spark the communication with everybody. And maybe, or you'll say, hey, Danny, this is you, see here, this is what you do to your brother. So you're actually grabbing all of them into it, and away from the computers, away from the TV, away from whatever else, and actually sit down, like you say, face to face, and start chatting. So it might not be the book that they're speaking about, but it actually ended up communicating with one another.
And it's all based on things that they can relate to, that
Exactly.
they've been doing to each other, or been witnessing from each other. Wow. Thank you so much for that introduction, Zaida. We're going to take a short break. So for those that's watching at home, I hope you are still tuned in. We'll be right back after this. Hey guys, welcome back. You're watching Open Studio on Cape Town TV. I'm Danny Campbell. I've got Zaida with me in studio today. She's a children's author. Okay, she's wrote a children's book which is appealing for both children and adults, and it's really used to engage and get a relationship back between parents and children. So, Zaida, again, welcome to the show. You're welcome. For those that's watching, we spoke earlier on about you, your background, and your inspiration to writing this book. Okay, so just digging deeper, I know writing a book cannot be easy. It never is. It takes time. It takes lots of thinking. You have to get the words right. You have to ask for help, proofreading, all that kind of stuff. So, how long did it take you to get this book done?
I would say almost 2 years. Like you say, there's editing, there's illustrations that need to happen. Unfortunately, I would love to draw, but I can't for the life of me. So, and obviously the printing, I didn't have any experience, so it took a lot of research. And also, actually writing the book probably took me a year. So the rest of it was almost 2 years, getting, the illustration done and all that. But the writing itself, it's a children's book, but it's not easy. One would think that is this all I wrote? But the process was quite hectic. Yeah.
Wow. So, will you say that people that have seen this book have had positive um, feedback?
Yes, definitely, from parents and from kids. Um, they, like I said, the parents will come back and say, oh, I'm guilty of this, or my child said this or that. And I'll always ask for feedback, whether it's pics, whether it's videos, whether it's just something that they WhatsApp me. And it's always been positive feedback. Even if it wasn't, I said, just give me honest opinion, because it's not about me and I want to be an author or just selling. It's about what I want the book to be. Interacting, communication, something positive in the family.
And basically getting that message across.
Yes, definitely.
So how many books have you sold so far?
Almost 200.
Okay.
I got it in lockdown. As the lockdown happened, I received my books.
Wow.
And it was on a Thursday, if I remember. Friday, I started my Insta account. I didn't have my Insta account because I didn't have the book.
Yeah.
So obviously, I then decided, okay, do an Insta. And Saturday, that weekend, I started selling my books.
Wow.
It was amazing. I thought my goal for this book was I'm going to finish it. This is where I was. I'm going to finish it. Even if I do one copy or one feedback to say, good job, or you know what, I actually love the book, or it inspired me, or I
Yeah.
got the message, that would have been it for me.
Yeah.
But the fact that within 2 months, I sold my 100 books.
Yeah.
I was in lockdown, because when lockdown happened, you thought, oh my word, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
I've got all these books, I don't have followers, I don't have, what am I going to do? But I think that obviously the message came across and was positive, and
Yeah.
so obviously word spread, and yeah, so I managed to sell my books.
And here you are today.
Definitely,
Wow.
yeah.
And I mean, so far the book is in English.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
So do you have any plans, of getting it into other languages
Yes,
to
yes.
cater for bigger crowds?
At the moment, I am halfway through the isiXhosa. I'd
Okay.
like to do that. Afrikaans as well. However, I do need help because it's not easy just to translate.
Yeah.
It has to make sense, and obviously, once you go to a different language, the words it's not the
Yeah.
same. So I need help with that. But what I really would like to do is to have the book done in Braille. The institutes obviously have been closed, so I couldn't get an appointment. I couldn't see anyone.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to actually, if there's more languages or someone out there would like to say, try this, I'm definitely willing to do that. But I'm busy with the course now, and I'm definitely wanting to do the Braille. So yeah, so definitely.
Wow. So I mean, lockdown has been good to you, eh?
It has its moments.
Yeah.
It has its moments, but yes, it's been good.
It has been good. Not many can say that. I mean, and it couldn't come at a much better time because during lockdown we were all at home,
Yes,
and for most of us we were forced, to interact.
yes, that's right.
And many people have seen that being locked in a house with your siblings really was a beautiful experience, and
Yeah.
having to WhatsApp them every time.
Yes,
Because I know many friends that the only way they communicate with each other is through a family WhatsApp group.
true.
Wow, and you live in the same house.
Yeah,
So
sending a message.
exactly. And now they could be in the house and go through your book.
Yeah.
So besides this book, is there any other projects that you are working with?
I am definitely. I have another book. However, like I said, I want to complete this one, as in getting in different languages, getting it out there, and then move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also would like to get more involved in the youth. I do little projects in communities where I read my book, but also interact with them. I have had a lot of feedback, positive feedback, where the kids surprisingly would interact with me, give me feedback with their thoughts and so on. So those are projects I love doing. In the way future, I'd like to do actually get young entrepreneurs to showcase, what they're interested in or what they're doing. Because I know a few that actually does that, and that is something I'd actually like to get more involved with.
Yeah. I mean, and your book is it really hits the spot, because I know in page 6 there is it's a section where there's a boy who couldn't play with his brothers because they are bigger than him.
And they're rough and they're playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about that. Always as being like the last born, you tend to be left behind in everything.
For me, the book can also be like a middle child syndrome,
Okay.
where you have an older and a younger, so you don't really fit in there either.
Yeah.
So with that was my son is like that, he's not a typical boy where he plays rough. So he ends up sitting one side watching, whether it's his friends or a brother or whoever doing that. So in the book, it's also for the brothers again to see that this is what we do without them realizing that he feels that he's being left out.
Oh yeah.
So that again would spark that conversation. So it doesn't have to be brothers, it can be sisters or whatever. And for you, like I said, for you to know that this is how he feels, or he can then say, this is how you make me feel.
Yeah.
So it is not necessarily being rough or whatever. It's just to bring that across, that message across, to say, this is how he feels, and he feels left out.
Yeah. And I'm glad that it's not a racial problem, but rather a social
Definitely,
problem,
yes.
something that happens to everyone, no matter your race, no matter your,
That was also a big thing for me. you'll see also there's another page where the sister's playing with her friends, and it's whoever. It's not about color, so when the child looks at it, it's just friends.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be about, color or anything like that. It should just be what the book is about and the message I'm trying to bring across. Yeah.
And it is a beautiful, powerful message. Wow. So we're going to take another short break. And when we come back, we'll go a little bit deeper into the conversation. For those that's tuning in at home, I urge you to not go anywhere. We'll be back after this. Hey guys, welcome back. Thank you for joining us. You're watching Open Studio right here on Cape Town TV. I've got Zaida with me today in studio. She is a children's author. Alright, she's written a book that's called Nobody Loves Me. And today she's here to speak to us about the intentions, the initiative, and also the purpose of this book into the young people as well as parents. Okay, so just to continue with our conversation, Zaida, we spoke a little about yourself, what inspired you to write the book and what is your plans with the book.
Yeah.
So just thinking future-wise, okay, where do you see this book within the next few years?
I would love this book to be at schools, not just at homes. I find that, and a lot of parents I think would agree, that teacher knows a lot what happens at home because of kids, speaking to them. So therefore, I'd like for it to be at schools, so it can spark more conversation. It can bring out more about the child, or perhaps the child doesn't speak at home, but now the teacher will bring it to the parents' attention and say, your child actually has an issue and this is what it is. And, related to this book, and these are the type of things that you need to address perhaps.
Wow.
And also at the end of the book, there's a puzzle, there's a little questionnaire, and I'm hoping that that questionnaire as well would spark conversation, not just about the surface of what the question is, but more in depth and more communication between them. Yeah.
And I mean, you mentioned that the book has taken quite a bit of time
Yes.
to prepare, to write and get it out there.
Yeah.
So do you have any plans of any other books that you are working
Yes.
on? Do you need any
Yes.
help with those?
I have another book. I need help with those. The printing, my illustrator is wonderful, so I'm definitely using the same illustrator. The printing, the editing, that I definitely need help with. I have another book. I also need the help with getting it in different languages, sponsorships, in order to get it out there, to get to schools, to have it in all sorts. That's why I wanted different languages as well. So if it's a first language of Xhosa, they have the English and the Xhosa, and then they learn it simultaneously, or the English with the Xhosa, or Afrikaans, whatever it is. And like I mentioned, the Braille, so to have it at schools and to have it available. Not just at schools, where there's libraries, bookstores, that will be wonderful.
Just want to get a message out there.
Definitely, yeah.
So for the other book that's coming up, is there a title for it already?
I do have a title for it. Like I said, it's done, and
It's done.
it's done. It just
Okay.
needs the editing and the printing. The title of the book is "Different Can Be Awesome." I've learned it also from kids and my kids, who are my inspiration for my books. My son would ask me, why is my hair like this, but his hair is like that? Why is this like that, but she's like that?
Yeah.
Why is this one fat and I'm thin? So, not that he's being funny, it is just a question, because why is it different? And sometimes you feel, or that you experience at schools, kids can be cruel.
Yeah.
So different can be awesome. You are different. No one can be the same, and it's okay. That is the message I want to bring across. It's okay to be different. You are your own person. You're individual. You're not here to be like that person. You make decisions for yourself.
And it's beautiful to bring that message into the young people's mind, because as you grow older, you tend to want to fit in.
Yes.
And when that doesn't happen, there's a lot of psychological issues that can go
disappointment,
with it.
rejection,
Exactly. Depression. Even.
Yes, yeah, that's
wow.
true.
That's. I'd actually love to see that book.
Yeah, when I was busy with this, that already came to mind. When I've learned that when I write, I just jot things down. I don't sit down and say, I'm going to start writing my book now. Thoughts come to mind, ideas come to mind, I just write it down. It's just all over the place, and then later I make sense of it.
Put it together. Wow. So are you giving this a time period as to when you want this to be done, this other book?
I would love the book to be done tomorrow if possible. It's just that I need the assistance especially for my first book, like I say, and then from there, the rest will just follow,
Yeah.
hopefully.
So that if there's anybody out there that wants to assist you, that wants to find you, sponsor you, how can they do so?
On Instagram, it's called Books by Zaida. My email, you'll find everything on Books by Zaida, or I can give my number,
Oh yeah.
083 600 7725.
Is that your personal number?
That's that's my personal number. Okay, please don't phone me if there's no sponsorship.
You're gonna get lots of messages now.
Or maybe just Facebook. You can Instagram me on Books by Zaida, Facebook Zaida Harneker.
Yeah.
They can DM me on those. Also, my books are available at stores.
Yeah.
At the moment, it's at Chinatown Ottery, shop A16.
Okay.
Also, Tukai in Bluru Tukai at Party Rock. I also recently opened my own store. It's called Beauty Hub. It is a store with a spa. It's also available at my own store.
Oh wow. So I'm very close to Chinatown. You say it's Chinatown A16.
Yeah, Ottery, yeah.
So if like there might be somebody else out there that that's also writing a book that's probably struggling, or they have the book but do not know how to get it to those stores. How do you do that? How do you approach them?
Answer your question again.
How do you approach these store owners and tell them, I have a book and I have it in your store?
I just approach, I'm one of those people that it's either yes or no. Or maybe, or come back later, I'll come back later. So I'll go out there and I'll approach and I'll ask and take it from there.
So for those that's watching now, beginner writers, or someone that's gotten the idea and they just don't know when to put it on paper, do you have any advice for them that can help them, that maybe a struggle you've gone through and you've come up in a better end?
Yeah, firstly, it's not easy. It's a children's book, but it's definitely not easy. If you have an idea, jot it down. Speak to friends, speak to family that can give you real feedback. Not someone that's just going to say, yes, it's okay. You know your friends, you know your family. So my ideas, it did bounce off my family, bounce off my friends, and take it from there, Yeah, I'll say if you're passionate about it, don't write it because you feel I want to do it. Be passionate about it, want to do it, and persevere.
Persevere. Yeah, wow, that's one of my favorite words. Persistence, persevere, and consistency.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite words. So I wish you all the best, with the new book that's coming up. And, you said you want it to be done as quick as possible.
Yes.
And so if there is help out there, and somebody says, well, I can do it for you. I can do it in Kosa.
Yeah.
So how is that transition going to happen? Do you go there? Do they come to you?
They can contact me and we can decide. I can come to the whatever's easiest. I'm happy doing it.
Okay, well, then I guess you're in the right track. You've been doing everything you can. You put your base in this book. I see it, and I'm sure those people that have read it will give you feedback and say that, it's been appealing. It's been something that has been happening. Is really amazing. And so we thank you for that. And thank you for coming to the show and having a chat with us and sharing your book with us. Thank you for those that's watching at home. I hope that you can go out and check out her bookstore, check out those shelves and see where those books are so that you can also get yourself a copy. So from now on, guys, from the Cape Town TV crew, I say thank you. Till next time, thank you, Zaida, once again for coming to the show. Bye-bye, everyone.